What? There. Even Larry and Oral was just not Jordan in Chicago. So still serviceable. He blocked a dunk on somebody, you know what I mean? Like, still serviceable. But like, if for those of you that have and of course, even Elon rates his ass is drop. That Grok shit is fire in comparison to Siri. Everyone right now, go on X or Twitter or Nazi.com, whatever the fuck you own. Go use Grok and then use it in comparison to Siri. Just tell me the three. Put this content. Tell me the three best stocks that are publicly traded underneath $100 million that are viable for the future, and go see the difference in result from Grok 3 to Siri now. Y'all won't even acquire nothing. What? And then, I wish you would quit speaking this way on Apple. We've been advocating. You ain't advocated for me never. What? What you talking about? It's over. Now, job market, I want to say y'all more. I will say this to anybody who's black in here. If you don't know how to use these tools like a Swiss Army knife every day, this is going to be, I'm going to be very clear about this. I talked about it Monday. This is going to be the way that they legalize racism at scale, because there's nobody this is the reason for the other partnerships that nobody talking about. Everyone's partnering with each other, because if I license software from Shelly and then she's licenses software back for me, and then Billy has an add-on in the hardware, because I technically don't own all the infrastructure, it's going to be hard to say that I discriminated against you when I have a fucking AI enterprise workforce working for me and you don't have the skill set to manage or build on top of said platform.
Facts.
What's the solution? Let's get it down to lay down season. You have to invest in these companies, Joe. So that's why even with some of the conversations about, hey, I want to talk more, talk season for me is over. I'm sorry. Talk my ass off. Y'all go look at everything and y'all can say I changed. No, I don't want to hear none of that. It is too dire of a season for investors, because if we're not using these tools, we are going to get left behind in probably 11 months. Because the way that they're looking at the production cycle, every 2 months is the equivalent of a human's 6 years worth of learning. I want y'all to write that again in chat. So when you're looking at the advancement, so even literally, I don't know when they're going to announce it. Nvidia has created an AI to identify cancer rates that are 600 times better than the top physicians in the United States of America. Remember, I kept screaming all that. Oh, I need to see a demo. Oh man, Google them chip. Need to see a demo. Man, we went in there, had signed a little paperwork with this NDA. What you want to see? The video and playing that shit. What you want to see? Man, just any breakthroughs in medical. It's like, oh, look at this. If I hit that button, I said, what? And that wasn't even talked about at GTC. The weather pattern shit is really interesting too.
All right.
So, okay, never mind. On another note, thank you for all 1,000 of you being here tonight. I love you so much from the bottom of my heart. Nicole, let's come to you. Come on down and ask your question on tonight's
Oh,
Stock
goodness.
Club call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, you guys covered a lot.
How are you?
Bloomy.
Hello,
Bloomy.
Shelley. Hello, Shelley. Hello, Ian.
How are you?
Oh goodness.
I'm sorry if I stressed you. Okay, everyone, let's take a collective breath and say, we are going to be all right. Drake may be mad at me for saying it, but we going to be all right. Okay? We're
Yeah.
good. Yes.
No, we're good. We're good. No, actually, Billy covered a lot. I just might this touched on some stuff, the stuff about Tim and innovation and stuff. So I just started the book that they referenced on the Everything Store Amazon
Yes.
biography called The Innovator's Dilemma.
Speak up some.
Oh yeah, can you hear me? Okay.
That's better.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's all predicated on the idea that once a company starts up, innovates, gets its business done, then it ends up kind of moving from a startup and bringing in more like operations management people. Like Amazon, they did the startup and then they brought in a bunch of managers from like the Walmart idea. And then they kind of got processes going. But the problem is that when people get into that position, they stop innovating because they're all in process and they're all being managed by these, kind of large Walmart process people. And they lose the startup. But and that seems like what's happening with Apple, which is why I did ask. It wasn't so much whether they would buy into a partnership with Nvidia. It was more that since they are no longer doing the building culture because they've gone too much management, would they acquire a company fully that could potentially become like the next Nvidia? Would they do it that way and try and get the innovation started by complete buyout, complete M&A?
It's their only path to glory. But some of the thing that Tim is fighting, even though he's one of the greatest CEOs of all time, when you think of him, you don't think of a particular product. And he wants to, I've never said it before, their relationship isn't what everyone pushed it to be. Steve had a lot of prejudice towards Tim, and in his past, and Tim punishes him a lot for that. So he wants it to be remembered as his company, but there's no product that you can tie to Tim for that. That's why I don't think he'll outright buy a AMD or Supermicro, because it would look still as if you could not get out of that. I think it would be a better move if he did, but there's a lot of ego there.
Yeah, it's his own hubris. All right.
Allegedly
his own hubris.
Yes.
So, yeah, because I thought that was interesting in the Amazon books. It specifically talked about how Bezos started, he was a hard book, a hardcover book publisher or distributor. And then he literally started an ebook division, made sure it was not run by the people who were doing the physical books. So he literally had two competing companies running at the same time because he didn't care. He's like, I will continue to innovate and I will even create companies that will cannibalize
each other. Yes.
That's right. And the one that's making money right now, I will cannibalize it in order to continue to iterate. So he kind of has a weird hybrid company in that he keeps iterating companies within it that literally cannibalize his like major profit centers.
But people forget that he came from banking before that, where that industry cannibalizes his human talent. People forget that about Bezos' journey. Also was a teacher's trainer.
Oh, interesting. So what I took from that was that's interesting, and one of the things to look for, because you always tell us to look for companies that have that moat. That that's one of the indicators. Do they either acquire companies that cannibalize that or have the potential of cannibalizing their major profit centers for the purpose of innovating for future revenue, or create divisions that do the same thing? Are they continuing to innovate in that way, or are they staying static like Walmart
or Amazon?
Yeah, well, like in order to like figure out the next Amazon, to identify them, we have to like looking for companies that are continuing to innovate within, right? The other thing I thought was interesting about that book was he had kind of like, again, back to the moat, he had a bunch of kind of advantageous processes. So he patented basic processes like one-click shopping, which, so that was, he did middleman leverage. So he didn't produce the product, and instead he inserted himself in the middle so that he could create the customer experience and the customer loyalty and keep the actual manufacturer out of it without having any of the fixed costs of manufacturing. And then the secret sauce is the Amazon flywheel or the reinforcing loop. So it was like lower prices lead to more customer visits, lead to increased volume in sales, which attracts more commission paying third party sellers, which allow Amazon to dilute fixed costs like fulfillment centers and servers, which creates greater efficiency that allows lower prices. So he has that flywheel that's always, always, always working. And then anything he did, either acquiring a company or creating a new potential company within the business, always had to add to that flywheel in one of those spots.
Or just recreating a business of a seller that's doing incredibly well and then putting them out of business.
Yes. Okay, yeah. I mean, this is getting recorded, so I'm not going to say too much about him personally. But yeah, his way to acquire the businesses was really run them into the ground, even if it was at a loss for Amazon, because they could take a loss for 3 quarters, a year, 2 years. And because he was all about the long now, right? He was the 10 years.
Yep.
He'll run you into the ground for 2 years.
For 2 years, for results for 10 years from now? Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Good trade-off.
Exactly. Didn't care. Seems totally workable. So those were kind of all the Amazon moat identifiers that I saw. So the learnings and to take that and to identify for other businesses going forward.
And for everyone, if you're new, if this feels like too high level, let me bring it down. When you hear innovation, the only thing I want you to think is making a customer's life better. Has Amazon made shopping much better for everyone who's on it, opposed to, if you're old enough, remember going to Kmart back in the day? For sure. Was Apple at one time an innovation monster? For sure. It's not that anymore. And it's always, pun intended, the book title, The Innovator's Dilemma, when things are going well. Do you keep focusing on process, strategy, and the management of even some of the things that I do in Red Panda are off key, like the not answering email thing? That's off, but that's a loss on my time and the assistant's time. But I will practice accountable. Like Sniper is accountable to Alpha. You don't think out of all those people you like, and for those who joined Sniper, I never upsell join the paid trading program. But what insights will I get from it is worth the trade-off. And it's worth having my time free. When I see a company is not innovating, and even though I hated that Jensen stole the quantum wave from those quantum companies, one thing I did say is I respect him for not letting this company get behind. I think it was financial manipulation to say, oh, quantum is 10 to 20 years away, and then the next fucking week we got quantum day. I think that should not be legal, hypothetically. But you have to give him credit for not letting this company fall behind. And the companies that I like the most are still innovating. And even with Tesla, they have made some improvements. I have not seen a great innovation from Tesla in a long time. You can tell that his focus is not there. You see way more PR out of SpaceX was not publicly traded in comparison to Tesla and Starlink. So once you see that decline, that's usually a sign. And if Apple's margins were thinner, they would be out of contention. They have pretty good margins for a company that size, so they're good.
Are there any companies you're seeing on the horizon, regardless of category, that seems to be innovating?
After what I saw, like
besides the AI space, I mean, yes.
I don't know how to accurately depict what I saw at Nvidia. Okay.
Fair.
Like, if I have to be honest, if I'm just giving a pure analysis hedge fund style, and I have to do a comparison, NVIDIA's AI and what they're building is the equivalent to what Microsoft had in the 90s, and we're in 1987. I'm going to say it again. It is so just like how you had to have Microsoft Windows 95 and it's that. There's no getting around it.
Yep.
Because I was like, wait, how do you gridlock the world to buy your shit no matter where they turn? Even DeepSeek. Oh, I gotta ask how they get the hoppers. Oh, you're funny. No denial of it. First thing I thought. He said, but they still don't have enough compute, and where they're going to get the compute from. Because and this is where I learned this too. Let's say they go invade Taiwan tomorrow. They can go get all the hardware infrastructure, but NVIDIA put in a kill switch at TSM to help the data be safe.
Exactly.
He said, oh yeah, they put the kill switch in like last year. No worries. I know that's been a concern of yours, but we helped them with that.
Yep.
When Sinaloa get the help and New Jalisco get out of trouble, I'm like, what? I said, oh, this is the only company. For this, I want to be clear. For this decade, NVIDIA is the only main company you should have focus in. If I have to start all over.
Well, let me ask a weird question. Right. Okay, so like pre-2000, right, when you were doing search, like they were trying to figure out the internet and search, there are lots of big companies, right? But there are companies like Netscape, and they were the big gorilla, but they didn't make it, right? We ended up with like Yahoo, Google.
Because of Microsoft.
Oh, sorry. So, yeah, so we
because of yes.
Microsoft stealing, yes.
Right. So my question is with NVIDIA, this is again the beginning of AI. How do we know that NVIDIA is a Microsoft and not a Netscape? Like, how do we know it'll be there on the other side? Because it has such a moat that it's everywhere. Like, are we sure?
Okay. Here's the moat that nobody is really. I take the AI and the software. The moat is they're the only company that identifies as an American company that is getting investment capital from BRICS.
From around the world.
Yeah.
Russia, Ukraine, India, China, and NVIDIA is the pretty bitch at the new school that everybody wants, and everyone's going to spend every dollar to get her first. For the ladies, you ever have 4 of them who wanted you at one time and they all was tricks? What a summer. Bring all your friends. All of us go to Turks. What? Then Derek double back. Oh, I know he won't take you there. I'm going to get you to Birkin, and we're going to go to China and explore. Girl, pack your bags.
Are you saying this is NVIDIA's hot girl summer? Is that what you're saying?
For sure. They built Verna for Saudi.
Yep.
But I saw it. It wasn't like a sketch. I walked in and shit opened up like Iron Man. I'm like, wait, I gotta sell my soul? Nah, man, just enjoy the show. Cool. I said, man, who paid for all this? Now I'm asking about liquid cooling. Now I want to get into they already got the liquid cooling over in Saudi. Not here. So I said, okay, wait, so y'all help Taiwan so they can't get TSM. Y'all get money from the Saudis. You get money from us. You're a national treasure here in the United States. You're helping India. What companies are you? They got the Fortune 1000 on lock. And the countries.
But what about the U.S. government? Are they going to put blocks on NVIDIA?
Blocks? No, they got tricked too. They're the national treasure. That's when I said the moat is for everyone to take the performative part. The moat is every major company on earth is fighting for them to be the technological ally.
What happened to Biden's darling?
What happened to Biden's?
The Walking Dead.
You broke up, say it again?
The Walking Dead Intel. All that money that they put in the Intel.
All right.
I can't. Yeah. I want to
All right, leave
live,
it
bro.
alone. Leave it alone. Leave it
No.
alone.
All right.
But okay, but in 1996, for the point, we were supposed to have fiber cable that ran throughout the United States, and we were supposed to have 5G speed in 2000, and we
Mm-hmm.
didn't get it, but the funds were allocated,
Exactly. For all the
and it's
telcos.
so that's all I can say about that. But if you look at the correlation, and the only thing that okay now if I'm doing a SWOT analysis on Nvidia, the only thing that may concern me is because TSM is going to have the factory in Arizona. They may be forced to buy certain parts of Intel's business, which may put them in the GPU, CPU business. Alleged. That may be the only competitor.
So with TSM approaching that, right? Because somebody in the chat, and they might have been new, they were wondering why TSM wasn't included, but you've always talked about the geopolitical risk. So how
Mm-hmm.
much does that mitigate the geopolitical risk if they actually get a data center or a manufacturing fab center up in?
And you mean if China goes to Taiwan or if we bring it over here?
No, if TSM comes over here, how much does that mitigate
Here,
the
here.
geo risk?
It takes almost all, especially now that like it got confirmed that kill switch is there. Oh man,
That's
the
why they
risk
did it.
down to five. And then I don't know if it's true, but someone who worked at a top 20 Fortune 20 company told me like that kill switch would shut off the entire company in less than 15 minutes.
Oh, so that China can't utilize
So
the
if you got it, you can get all the hardware you
Exactly.
want to, but
But
you can
you won't get anything else.
you won't get any software, any data, any AI. Cool. I said, oh, okay. Cool.
So
So,
damn. So if TSM removes the geopolitical risk,
oh,
that's
to
another
the moon.
another
To the
knock-on.
moon, for sure.
Yeah, but here's my question: if Nvidia has helped them with a kill switch, then Nvidia must have some contemplation of how they're going to be a competitor or not a competitor. Like, why would Nvidia necessarily do that without having some sort of understanding or negotiation that makes TSM less of a competitor to them?
Maybe we'll be an ally and have a duopoly.
Yeah.
And you know
Exactly.
what? And when I heard that, it made me think of the Google and Apple. Oh, I'm gonna just throw you like his heart didn't go out to nobody else after that because it's a lot of Republican hedge funds who put that
And then
because that's when the clients are starting to select and the hedge funds are pushing dollars a certain way, and Nvidia comes in with well, we've already got the roadmap for the weather mapping. Let us work on our autonomous taxi part. We won't build a car because there's no money in the engine side, but there's a lot of money in the software. So that's why you saw GTC, the partnership with GM. I'm gonna let you guys sit on the liability side. The asset side is the software. So let me sell you the software and you can license it from me. And now all the car companies can now then compete with them after this partnership closing off. You know who had that LiDAR technology first? For the same compute, Apple with that fucking car that they dropped the ball on. So, yes, keep buying Nvidia. Yes, Two Sigma is one of the hedge funds that's short of Tesla for sure. And as Demetrius put it, price is not price is everything. Always focus on the price. And will I think Elon will be quiet to get the value of the company up? Yes, because if not, it's going to hurt his other contracts, including Starlink.
To the person that asked if they should buy Nvidia now, even though it's above the prices that Ian gave, every single time that I have ever done that, it has 100% of the time without fail, immediately, as soon as I bought it, dropped to exactly where Ian called it at.
Hey,
Go with the
hey.
prices. You paid for the prices so you could buy
Yep.
these stocks. Stick to the prices.
Mhm.
Okay, last question. Um, really more of a request for comment. So, not during the conference, but after the conference, like on an aside, Jensen was being interviewed by, somebody from Barron's, right? His name escapes me at the moment. Matter of fact, I think it's take him, but I could be wrong. So he asked Jensen, you know what I'm saying, some questions, about ASIC,
Mhm.
which is the application specific integrated circuits, right? So that's the Broadcom thing. That's Broadcom system, right?
Mhm.
Or hardware, right? So Jensen's like, oh, they're canceling that all over the place. A bunch of those orders got canceled. He said, quote, damn it, I can't see this light. He said, quote, ASIC has to be better than the best. So like, in other words, alluding to the fact that like, you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and we're the best. So therefore, y'all ain't really no competition. So what do you
Mhm.
think about the Broadcom threat?
I don't know if it's a direct threat, but it is a viable opponent, and they will be a leader in this space over the next 5 or 6 years. There's room for all of them to coexist. Like, I think the big three will be, of course, TSM, Nvidia. Broadcom is going to be a quiet killer, kind of like how Microsoft was in enterprise. It may not have all the flash of the open AI or the ChatGPT product, but the value for sure is there. Even Larry and Oracle, because of relationship and long-standing relationship with Trump and Peter Thiel, which I think he is the kingmaker that nobody's looking at. Broadcom is going to be good for sure. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't take my eye off of them. They're a quiet killer, kind of like Lily, for sure.
Okay. And somebody, I know somebody asked this earlier, right? What about the fact that Apple is uh unofficially partnering with Nvidia just by buying and using all their stuff? Like somebody asked, okay, maybe they can't develop their way in, but can they buy their way back into the game? Because they do have a lot of cash on hand.
I don't know if they could technically. I don't know. Okay, I'm tired of like defending them, so this is what I'm gonna say. I'm Apple is Tim's fucking ego that's keeping them out of the league. Once again, I love Tim. I love what he's done. I know since Steve Jobs died, he drove 90% of all capital growth and fucking capital valuation under, even though there were Steve's products. Everything that released after Steve died, did he manage it better? Yes. But has Tim created anything? No. The culture is gridlocked through him. You don't have to ask anybody. Ask anybody that you know who works in the bank. Amazing operator. Amazing operator. Like margin master. There's no innovation, and then the partner, like he's moving too late. It's the equivalent of if Apple got drafted, they just started doing the hardened step back this year. That shit old now. Like, do y'all hear how passionate I am? But like, they are moving too slow on everything. 6-year-olds do the step back now. Now you wanted to come up with a fucking AI. What happened to the crypto wallet shit y'all had? Then when XRP got into a little kerfuffle with they dropped that project. They could have eased. The crazy part about the Michael Saylor thing that pissed me off, man, they were supposed to be one of the first ones investing in Bitcoin. Like, I've never seen a company this powerful drop. This shit remind me of Drake. Like, nothing he's putting out right now is sticking. Nothing Apple's dropping right now is having any impact. I don't need a fucking lossless audio AirPod Max 9. No, so I go on the server, right? I took my little picture. They typed out a fucking NDA to promise to give Xander to it up if I put it out. The agentic AI, like imagine if you have an office of like 30 computers next to each other. Hey, this is Nvidia. These fucking computers are doing work together, tied together as an office with no people there. And you want to send me some fucking headphones? Man, Tim Cook needs to leave. Next to each other. Hey, this is Nvidia. These fucking computers are doing work together, tied together as an office with no people there. And you want to send me some fucking headphones? Man, Tim Cook needs to leave. I'm sorry. I won't say it in public. Yet, you got to have to invest us. Gotta see some change. But when, I'm imagine 30 laptops together and they're talking to each other through agents, and laptop 6 is completing the request of laptop 2. And you want to sell me some new fucking AirPods? Man, go to hell. Siri ain't worked well in 7 years. Like, what? Okay. And them fucking server racks and shit, even the design of the chips and shit, gorgeous. What? How the M1 chip doing in comparison? So, yeah. The alleged partnership, could they buy their way in? Maybe, but I don't think their culture will allow them to do that, even though they should.
Well, that's interesting that you said about Tim leaving, because I read somewhere, memory escapes me, that happens, that in the beginning you have to have an innovator, right? But then when it's time to grow and scale the company, then you need an operator like Tim, right?
Yep.
But then there comes a point where now that it's flowing properly,
go back to innovation.
Back to the innovator, right?
You gotta go back to innovation. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but what do I know? Now that I scared the shit out of y'all, the big question is who we should invest in. The Microsoft, of course. VO, Amazon, Nvidia. If Elon quit doing this little Hail Hitler salute, they'll be fine. But for real, in 18 months, that relationship will be over. Apple will still be okay. It just won't be. It's going to be Jordan and the Wizards, not Jordan in Chicago. So, still serviceable. He blocked a dunk on somebody, you know what I mean? Like, still serviceable. But like, if for those of you that have, and of course, Elon rates his asses drop. That Grok shit is fire in comparison to Siri. Everyone right now, go on X or Twitter or Nazi.com, whatever the fuck you own, go use Grok and then use it in comparison to Siri. Just tell me the three, put this content, tell me the 3 best stocks that are publicly traded underneath $100 million that are viable.